Welcome to Olds Mob 455. We're in the month of December. The temperature drops in Wisconsin. This is when guys finally get enough gumption to start working on their stuff. And I'm at my cousin's house, and this car was painted in 1982 and set aside, and life took over. He raised 3 kids, all 3 girls, and they're married off now except one, and there's always something. And he had too many cars, and this one just didn't get work done. So you're looking at a paint job that's like 50 years old. It's a 67 Chevelle, one of my favorites.
It's an acrylic lacquer.
You'll see that when he took this all apart body off the frame, the chassis painted, the inside of the car is painted. He went and bought all new chrome for it. Everything's still in the wrappers. This is the second. The engine was all rebuilt, but it sat there, and then he didn't feel comfortable about it. Took it in, and they upgraded it, some better parts, and he's got aluminum heads on it now because it just seemed like it was cheaper to buy better performing heads and take some weight off of it. And he got a decent price on the aluminum heads. And then it was on the dyno. It made 433 foot-pounds of torque and 444 horsepower out of a 327. That's pretty freaking good. Well, now it'd be a 330.
60 over.
Oh, 60 over?
So it's 337 cubic inches.
So, in the meantime, it's got air conditioning. Now he upgraded to a whole different brake system. It used to have just 4-wheel drum brakes. Now he's got discs in the front. New coolers, radiator. It's actually been over restored. Now this is a car that's not an SS, so he's building it to be his car. Some people get upset, oh, he should be doing it just like, stock, but it wasn't an SS, it's a Malibu. Waiting for a little clip that these clip in, and you put 2 screws in it, and then all the chrome trims, they're still in these wrappers. This stuff is getting to be pretty brittle.
So this stuff's all from 1981 as well?
In that same area, yeah.
Oh, some people might not even know what this is.
It all came right. You could still get it from the Chevy deal.
Back in the day, we only had AM radios. So the first thing you wanted to upgrade to is change your AM radio so you could pick up. Hippies were, coming out, and the music was like Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin and stuff. Those were on these real weak little stations that we had around here, and if you got an FM converter, you could listen to the stations that we liked.
Actually, an 8-track in this one.
Yeah, then I went to 8-track and cassette and CDs. Now you guys just have MP3 or whatever, I don't know. So this car had a steering column that had the shifter on it. It was just a 2-speed power glide, right?
Yeah.
Well, now he's going to a 700 R4, so he'll have overdrive. You can see this has all been painted in here. New sound deadening. He's got all that Dynamat that he's gonna put in the doors and the floors. This is all refurbished. This is all brand new. The shifter's all brand new. This is the style that they had back in 67.
That's for a console, right?
Yeah, and then he's got a console. And actually he's got
Went
2...
from bench seat to bucket seat.
Yeah, it had bench seats. Now he's got a whole bucket seat. What happened back in the old days is I'd have friends that had drag cars, and they were taking this good stuff out of their cars. And I'd say, hey, Jimmy, I know a guy that's got a whole interior. And he bought that stuff up.
Yeah, the interior I bought for the car had less than 40,000 miles on it. So this was what the bearing was before.
Yeah.
And I started cleaning it out, and all the balls started falling out of it. And it was all really gravelly.
Yeah.
And I looked at the balls, and the balls weren't even round anymore. They were so... And this actually gets... this part of the column is beyond the firewall, so that gets,
Water
gets
splashing
water.
up.
It can get some you know, some weather on it and stuff. So what I ended up doing is I had a spare, and even my spare, the bearing was shot. So this is the carrier for it, and this gets pressed in like this. Well, I had my friend machine it out larger, and I ended up putting a self-lubing Timken bearing. It was still a roller ball bearing, but it was real tiny. And so then it's a sealed bearing. So these didn't have any kind of a seal on them, so you'd get water in there. So it's upgraded that way, and the thing just feels really nice now. It used to feel real gravelly. When I converted it, I took all the shifter stuff off.
Back in the day when guys would take an old 6-cylinder Camaro and you'd put a 4-speed in it, you just ground this off, put some black tape around it because you're going to be putting a tack on there anyway. But
so this is all taken apart completely. This has all been powder coated. All these parts here, I painted all this stuff, and then I did it all. You know, there's a lot of different parts, and I had a second one of these because you could see where this one, the wiring was worn through. Oh, right here, I had an electrical problem with it, and you could see where it might have been shorted right there. So I had a second one of these, and that's the directional switch and your horn button and stuff like that. And then this part here was for the lever that actually shifted the mechanical linkage to the power glide, and I ended up cutting that off. So otherwise that would have been. So I cut it off and ground it and painted it. Well, this is the first year for collapsible steering column. 1967 was the first year of collapsible steering column. So actually this, I didn't glue this on yet. But what makes it a collapsible steering column is it's got
accordion.
It's got accordion in here. Yeah. And then this plastic is just a sleeve. And so that crushes. Everything telescopes in, so you don't end up getting your steering wheel shoved through your heart.
This slides up to here. Yeah.
I've seen 67 Chevelles with the antenna up front here.
Yeah.
And then there was also one back there, and it was actually in one of their advertisements, so it must have been an option or something. But yeah, I decided to go to a 62 Impala mast, so it comes back at an angle, and you can telescope it down so it's short. So not exactly kosher, but
we'll open this up.
That's what I wanted. So
this is a 12 volt out of a 70 Chevelle that had even more power, you know, with a 454. They had to have a stronger rear axle, but the bodies were wider in 70, so the axle is 5/8 wider on each side, which is getting to be a pain in the butt for him because he wants to get wheels. And now the spacing is all thrown off because he's out a little bit further. And you want to put the fattest tire you can on there. It's going to be, you know, he doesn't want it rubbing the wheel well lip.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this channel gets gear lube. It comes down, there's a hole here, and then it feeds the bearings in the carrier.
Yeah. So a lot of guys would buy those aftermarket smooth aluminum things with the fins on it, and then they wouldn't, you know, deflect the oil to where it's supposed to go. This has to be here. Yeah, this would cost a fortune to do it nowadays, but he bought all this stuff when it was, you know,
1980.
Yeah. So he's got a new gas tank, the shroud. Look at the sway bar that's off the Chevelle also. That's a big 1 1/8 inch sway bar. So you can see it's all shinier than heck. This is where you're going to be afraid to ride it through gravel. 700 R4 all rebuilt, you know, so he will have overdrive. He's got 373 gears in the back, and he goes and gets this custom drive shaft, and he had it all measurements and everything. And now he's worried, you know, this yoke is too far out, so he's probably going to have to get it. He'll have to get it redone. So you can see all the fuel lines, the filters. So he had to go with a bigger fuel line. It used to have a real wimpy, skinny.
It was 5/16.
5/16 fuel line. Yeah, that all looks nice. Brake lines. So this is the beginning of December, and his goal is to get this going
after the salt's gone.
Yeah, after all the salt's gone and they start to have car shows again, he wants to be driving it next summer. What did you get from Moforth?
I got a complete Flowmaster exhaust system, 2.5 inch all the way to the rear.
All mandrel bent.
Yeah, it's all stainless steel too.